All right. So for this video, we are starting with Strand 1. So this is the first video of that. So here are your essential questions. You'll see that in your notes there are some boxes that towards the end of each standard that will have a spot for essential questions to be written down. I'll introduce to you those essential questions at the beginning of each standard, and then you will, then at the end, you'll go back and you'll answer those essential questions. There is also a spot for you to write a summary about what you learned. That is what will need to be done and complete before you take your mastery checks. So for standard 1.1, the essential question is, what are some characteristics and responsibilities of caregiving? Standard 1.2 is, what are the needs and rights of parents and children? Standard 1.3 is, how does society impact childhood experiences? So go ahead and pause the video while you write these essential questions down in your note packet. Then come back when you're ready. All right. So our objectives. By the end of class today, or by the end of these videos that you watch on these standards, you should be able to evaluate caregiving and societal roles and responsibilities, evaluate the needs and rights of parents and children in the early childhood education classroom, and evaluate how society impacts childhood experiences. So the first one we're going to talk about is caregiving and societal roles and responsibilities. So, first thing I want you to do is I want you to think about your own development, and I want you to think about 3 factors that you think may have influenced your development, who you are, and who you will become. So, for example, 3 factors that I think have influenced me in my life. The first one is I think that me being the oldest in my family has influenced who I am. I also think that me growing up in a family that sorry, my brain is like trying to think. Me growing up in a family that watched and played sports influenced who I am. And also me having both brothers and sisters has influenced me. So, they can be anything that you feel like you've gone through that has influenced who you are or who you will become. So think about those things. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the importance of children. So we're going to do that by watching this video to introduce that to you.
I wonder where we are.
I don't know. Come on. Pardon me, sir. The castle? The chateau?
Der Schloss?
What's the matter with him? Come on. What are they staring at?
I don't know. It seems to be the children.
Well, what's the matter with them? Haven't they seen children before?
Haven't you noticed? There aren't any children. Not one.
What's going on? What's happening? Hey, you! What's happening? What's going on?
Soldiers! Soldiers! happening here?
Would you mind telling me what's happening?
Quickly before the soldiers get here.
Soldiers?
Come, Fräulein, quickly, quickly, come along, get inside. Please don't talk. We must get those children out of sight.
Jeremy.
Hurry. If the soldiers find them, they will take them away.
But why? What for?
It's the law. Nobody's allowed to have children in Bulgaria.
Not allowed, but what about all these
The
toys?
Baroness, she hates children.
Who can hate children?
Quickly, down there. Whatever you do, don't make a sound.
Okay. So I know it's kind of a silly, like, part of a video, but I think it introduces why children are important. So, all right, the importance of children in society. First thing is that children are the future. Okay, they're the future of society. They're the future leaders, doctors, scientists, caretakers, inventors, engineers, etc. They give us a purpose, so they give us a reason to wake up in the morning. And they are examples of lost qualities like love, ethics, humor, play, imagination, etc. So, for example, when I worked at preschool, it was very common for preschoolers to like push each other down on the playground, make each other upset, but as soon as somebody apologizes, they're back to being best friends again. That's an example of love and forgiveness and things like that. As we get older, we kind of start losing that. So that's why we call them lost qualities, because sometimes as we get older, we start losing some of those qualities. Every child in the world has one thing in common, their rights. So we're going to talk about some of the rights that children have. So they fall into basically three main categories. We talk about the nurture, or being love and affection, guidance, which is teaching and training, and physical, which we talk about healthy mind and body. So, the first right that children have is the right to loving and secure human relationships. So, in this, the words that you're going to write down are the ones that are in colors, okay? They have the right to proper nutrition, healthful and safe living conditions, and appropriate physical and psychological care. They have the right to be taught essential living skills. So, for example, this little girl is being taught how to wash her hands, which keeps us safe, okay? You know how to wash your hands because you were taught how to wash your hands, right? We're not just born knowing how to wash our hands. Children have the right to non-abusive discipline. We'll talk about that later on in the semester, how we discipline children without abusing them. They have the right to learn basic values and moral behavior. So basic things that as a society we feel like is important and things that we value. They have the right to be an independent and unique individual. So they have the right to be themselves. And they have the right to be protected from people who may physically or mentally harm them. They also have the right to develop individual talents. So, I'm going to end this video here and we'll come back. I'll tell you a story about some of these rights, and then we'll talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.